Hi, I'm Josh George, and today I'll be breaking down small conferences and the armed forces, as well as picking my 4 playoff spots and my national champion. To start with the dark horse for a playoff spot, the University of Central Florida. I think that they'll have a good chance, but their big hurdles are when they go to Dublin, Ireland, and play Penn State, and they also have to play Missouri in the non-conference. I think they will lose one, if not both of those games, and that will certainly cancel them out for a playoff spot. The other team in that conference that is good to watch is the Yukon Huskies. I think they'll have a chance at almost winning the conference this year and be the most underestimated team in college football. But with that said, I think they'll only get 9 wins. In fact, my bowl buster, my Boise State, if you will, my Cinderella, is going to be the Marshall Thundering Herd. I think they'll go 12-2. They don't have that hard of a non-conference, and their conference isn't that hard. They have plenty of starters coming back. I think they've got a great chance to be playing on a bowl in January 1st, and it might even be the Orange Bowl. So write that down, Marshall Thundering Herd in the Orange Bowl. You can go on ahead and say that's my bold prediction. I think they'll lose and go 12-2. Now to the armed forces. I think Army will beat Navy, and I think Air Force will beat Army and Navy. And with that said, that gives Air Force the Armed Forces Championship. Now let's talk about Notre Dame. They're also an independent, but because they're independent, they get to make their schedule either really easy or really hard. And I think because of that, I think Notre Dame winds up with 2 or 3 losses. They do have to play USC and Arizona State. So they'll have at least three losses on their schedule, and that will keep them out of the playoffs. Now, when it comes to the playoffs, my 4 teams are first, Florida State. I think they'll come into the playoffs ranked number 1. Number 2, I think will be LSU. Number 3 will be the Oklahoma Sooners. And number 4, I have the UCLA Bruins. The team I have as my left out is Nebraska. I know Nebraska's going to have a good season and will probably be 1 loss and a conference champion at this point. But they've been under-talked about all offseason. They'll be under-talked about all season. They won't have a Heisman candidate, and because of this, I don't think Nebraska has a chance to get in that 4th position over UCLA, who would have had to beat Oregon twice. So there's my top 4. Now, in the matchups, you have Florida State facing off against UCLA. I don't think Florida State will take UCLA seriously. And I think an overhyped Jameis Winston, who's due for a couple interceptions and probably a loss at this point, will wind up losing to UCLA. So proceeding to the national championship, I have the UCLA Bruins. Now in the other game, a rematch of the 2003 national championship, I have LSU and Oklahoma Sooners. I think the 2003 season is fresh on the Sooners' mind. And I think revenge will be in Bob Stoops' head as he faces off with Les Miles. I know Nick Saban was the coach in 2003, who he beat in the Sugar Bowl last year. Now he wants to get revenge on Saban's old team and the LSU Tigers. I think OU winds up winning like in the Sugar Bowl. They'll win by 2 touchdowns and proceed to the national championship. So my national championship is UCLA and the Oklahoma Sooners. I think UCLA has been underestimated the entire season. I think that will stand true. I think that they will get a weary and worn Sooner team coming off a big victory. I think OU winds up with the big head being favored, and it goes very similar to what happened to Florida State. So my national champion is the UCLA Bruins. Thank you and good luck to all teams. But remember, we have to play the games. Josh George.